What does Joe Rogan and the other major media outlets have in common? The answer is absolutely nothing. They have nothing in common. But what is interesting, and like really, really interesting, is the fact that Joe Rogan last night had a live stream. And that live stream brought in more than 500,000 people viewing it. As of right now, I think there's more than 5 million people that's viewed a video. But looking at the live stream, during its peak, NBC had 597, ABC had about 580, and Joe Rogan had north of 680,000, almost 1 million people watching this live about the election. So what does this tell you? Well, the writing was on the wall. For the longest period of time, mainstream media has been hijacked and eroded. If you look at it, it's literally a propaganda machine. At the end of the day, people are fed up with artificial bullshit. They're fed up listening to lies. They're fed up being spoon-fed of how you should behave, how you should think, how you should conduct yourself. Here's one human being that has a multifactorial, multidisciplinary background, from comedian to Fear Factor host to king of MMA commentary, and if not the biggest podcast, both video and audio in the world. This one human being has more attention, which is the most important fucking thing when it comes to education. And at the end of the day, this is all what it is education. The most important thing is he has the intention. One human being. And hopefully this is a wake-up call for a lot of creators out there. And hopefully this is a wake-up call to a lot of corporations out there. Listen, your little fucking NBCs and ABCs and cable television, they're falling out, man. And they've been trying for the very longest time to try to buy their way back in. They're trying to go to celebrities like Kevin Hart and The Rock and all these guys, and like, hey, we'll pay you whatever. And these are just assumptions, but I'm assuming people don't do things for free. People aren't altruistic, so there's some incentive for everything. So they're paying these celebrities to come on there and talk about whatever. You know, even YouTube's falling apart. If you look at what YouTube's been trying to do lately, specifically with Kevin Hart and these other celebrities, you're trying to pay celebrities to make content, because what YouTube and these mainstream media platforms lately have been doing, and lately, let's say, the last 4 or 5 years, is they've completely ignored what the general population wants. General population wants people who are authentic. General population wants people who are relatable. Know, like, and trust. How can you relate to people who are making $500,000 a year, who have ties to corporations, like multinational corporations, and who have ties to political party and lobbyists? How can people relate to them? I'm going to be relating to Wolf Blitzer, whatever his name. I'm going to be relating to Anderson Cooper. I'm going to be relating to all these people online. Get the fuck out. How the fuck are people going to relate? They don't. They don't relate to them at all. And so media's changing, man, and it's exciting, and I love it. This gives us so much opportunity to create deeper rooted, authentic connections with your audience. This little guy right here, this little phone right here, I got the newest Note 20, I believe. Yeah. This little phone right here has a better camera than 4 of my DSLRs. Like, it's a full 4K camera, back 4K, front 4K. Like, this thing's a super camera, super computer. In fact, I use it as a computer. So with this little baby right here, I can be connecting with people anywhere around the world. It can be live. It can be through YouTube. It can be through Twitter, whatever, Snapchat, etc. But the writing's on the wall. And this is why I think Spotify made that deal with Joe Rogan. They saw that he has the attention. Where attention is, that is where the trust lies. I want to repeat that again. Where the attention is, that is where the trust lies. And so people trust Joe Rogan. It doesn't mean you agree with his political viewpoint. It doesn't mean you agree with a lot of other things. But at the end of the day, he's a single human being. He's been doing this for God knows how long, 15 plus years. So he started this very long time ago. But people are opting out. Think about that. You have a whole network. I'm just looking at stats up here. You have NBC and ABC, and you have multi-million-dollar networks behind them. You have legacy corporations and legacy media, and they can't compete with one human being with the all-powerful Jamie behind him. So you have like a very small, lean cast over there and team over there. They can't compete at all, and I love it. I love the fact that they're shaking, and this is why I always say, look at Anytime Joe does something, and Eric Weinstein talked about this on the Lex Friedman podcast, anytime Joe does something, they attack him. You'll see it. Go on Twitter right now, type in Joe Rogan. Oh, and I saw one of the attacks. It happened last week, and now it happened today. He had Alex Jones on last week, and they're like, how could he have this vile, evil person? Doesn't he know he has a responsibility to not have people on, that the election's around the corner, and he shouldn't have this person. He has trust with hundreds of millions of people, and he shouldn't abuse that. Who the fuck are you to tell him how to think? Who the fuck are you to tell him how to do his craft? This is the danger. This is the sick, twisted, sociopathic mindset, where if you aren't thinking like they are, if you aren't behaving like they are, they attack you from every angle. When you become so powerful that with a flick of a switch, you can communicate with hundreds of millions of people around the world, you will have enemies. But like anything, I think Gandhi said it: first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And so at this stage, they're fighting Joe Rogan. He has now backing of Spotify. We'll see how that kind of plays out with his deal and the censorship, etc. So far seems to be going well, and it's just the beginning. But just of last night, after the live stream on Joe's show, you go on Twitter, go on any social media. What are they talking about? They don't know anything. They shouldn't be live streaming. Joe is a pawn. Joe is a puppet. Blah, 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 blah. That tells you something. It tells you that if a person or an entity or a corporation is putting in energy and bandwidth to start attacking you and start fighting you, they are scared of you. And so for the first time in human civilization, it's no longer the multi-corporations. It's no longer the brainwashing propaganda machines. And if you guys haven't read already, read Edward Bernane's book, Propaganda, the nephew of Freud. It's a very small, simple book. It's one of the best books when it comes to propaganda. He's a godfather of propaganda when it comes to Hollywood, or I like to call Holly Weird. He's a godfather of propaganda when it comes to the military complex machine. He's a godfather of modern day tobacco. He's a godfather of pretty much how the establishment is able to brainwash the general populace. And if you read the book Propaganda, it's simple. It just lays it out, how we will control the populace through dumbifying them, through mummifying their psyche by spewing the most mind-numbing, idiotic, quote-unquote, I call it uneducational material out there. And for the longest time, we had ABC, NBC, Fox, even Canada, CBS, and all these other fucking news stations. They're shit. They don't teach you anything proper. They don't connect with you whatsoever. They don't give a flying fuck about you. And now they're realizing, because of technology, both physical technology, network technology, internet technology, that they're becoming fucking obsolete. Round of applause. Thank God. Finally they're becoming obsolete. And they can try. They can start blocking stuff. They did it with Alex Jones. But as he said in Joe's latest podcast, his numbers are huge. He's gone to his own private servers. He's doing his private video hosting, and he's getting 10 million, 15 million views per video for not being on any so-called mainstream platform such as YouTube or Vimeo or Facebook or Twitter. So people are craving more intimate connections. People are craving just talking to real human beings. People are kind of dumbfounded and astonished of why Trump won 4 years ago. What's not fucking surprised why he won? Now, he might lose this. He might win this. We don't know. Maybe the results come in today or tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. I don't know. I don't have any horse in this race whatsoever. But at the end of the day, just people are absolutely fed up. Like, the general public is fed up. And back in the day, nation states and bureaucrats, they had all the chips in their hand to be able to manipulate and control the general populace. And for the first time ever, Pandora's box has been open. And here we have now the opportunity for you and I to connect one-on-one as individuals. We have the opportunity to actually educate people. It doesn't matter if you're on the left. It doesn't matter if you're on the right. I really don't care your political viewpoint. At the end of the day, I'm a staunch believer in 100% unadulterated freedom of speech. Like, if you control the words in my mind, you therefore control how I think. If you control how I think, I am nothing but a fucking robot. And so I'm a firm believer in using technology for a beneficial way. So start educating people. It's not about what I care about or my opinions or my viewpoints. It's a very notion that I have the opportunity right now to connect with you, that you have the opportunity to create educational material to educate people about whatever you want, whether it's about politics, whether it's about finances, whether it's about business, whether it's about life, relationships, etc. You, for the first time ever, since the last 10 years, to be honest, you can now connect with people on a global scale that these multi corporations and networks could never. Like, people are just fed up. And so I'll leave it at that, man. I'm super happy, man. These numbers are amazing, and we'll see what happens with the elections. You know what? Like always, if you guys haven't already, comment. I want to hear your thoughts about this. Leave a comment below this video. Hit the like button. Let's get this to a couple of hundred likes over here, and subscribe. I don't know if you have subscribed or not, but fuck, do it. All right, guys. Peace.